Here we are, hitting up events, drinking our way through Chicago beer, and trying not to miss a thing.
Yeah, because, got a cork popped out, boom, it flies like fucking 10 feet. We're like, yeah, let's do it.
You know, all you have to do is add some fruit, stir it up, and ride that milkshake wave.
Whenever I see him, I gotta take a photo with the most decorated brewer in Chicago, Jonathan Cutler.
It'll be like the stuff you hear. You ever go to, every time you go to Floyd's, all the music sounds like this. Raw, raw, raw.
Sometimes you want a small beer, but really, you want a big beer.
You gotta take in all those big aromatic hops.
Hey, what are you doing this weekend? Waiting in line for a bottle release?
You should have never been a fad. The black IPA is delicious.
Hey, and welcome to Chicago Beer Pass. I'm Brad Chmielewski,
Brad, what's up, man? I'm Nik White.
and we got the newest Deep Woods here, Boss Berry. Oh, wait, no, this is a Goose Island Boss Berry.
You throw a rye in between Boston and Berry, and you got Boss Rye Berry.
Right?
Pretty close.
Or what was the mixed berry? It was just mixed berry?
It was just mixed berry. Yeah. No, I think we're confusing them. Boss Rye Way, right?
Boss Rye Way.
And then mixed berry was barley wine, right?
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
So it kind of looks like it could be a Deep Woods, but it's not.
I forgot about that one. That was a good one. It was a good one, but it didn't taste like beer at all. The same way Strawberry Jacket didn't taste like beer.
Right.
Yeah.
But this is a fruited ale from the folks over at Goose Island. Maeve had this when we were there for the preview opening event, and she said it was good. She felt like it was a good summer kind of drink, but also one you might only have one kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's like a treat, but it's just not that refreshing.
Yeah. There's a shark, and the shark's got a mouthful of berries.
Yeah.
So.
And it pours out really nice with a pink head on it.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Yeah, it's not bad. I almost wish it was a frozen drink, like a slushy. Just give me a beer slushy of this.
Put it in a Capri Sun container. I'd rather have a slushy version of this. Yeah.
Right, I think that might be better, but it's not bad. It's fun to see something new from Goose Island, too. Yeah, so I'm going to keep sipping on these. Speaking of Goose Island, you were over there this past week again, right?
Yeah, man. Went to the salt shed, sat outside. They are open on Mondays and Tuesdays if there's a show.
Okay.
Other than that, their schedule is Wednesday to Saturday.
Okay.
So I was there on a Tuesday night, and
That's got to make it hard to schedule people.
oh, you mean people who work there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't have to do that. But the show schedule is listed for 4 months, so they might be okay.
No.
Yeah, Bourbon County got to try the Bourbon County milkshake.
Okay,
little
nice.
tiny one, very, very cool, blended,
Yeah.
homemade whipped cream, very nice. I don't think it's that hard to make whipped cream though. I think you just get whipping cream and then whip it. I think you get heavy cream and you whip it and throw some vanilla in there. I think off you go, and there you go.
Okay, possibly.
These are really good though. I had the little bitty version.
Okay. Yeah, it's good. Like I think I said we were talking about before, it's not overly Bourbon County. It feels more like a milkshake with maybe a little Bourbon County.
Yeah,
right? It doesn't
yeah.
feel like a Bourbon County and we threw ice cream in it.
If I made this milkshake, it would not taste like this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it would be getting racked off fucking.
Because throwing ice cream into a stout doesn't really make a very good beer float.
You gotta. I think blended is better than float. Yeah. The first house beer was on. It's an ESB, which matches the flagship beer, Honker's Ale, which is an ESB. All different recipes.
Okay.
Honker's Ale's an ESB, and then the last beer they made at Claiborne was also an ESB, different from this. So 3 different ESBs. I didn't have the last call at Claiborne, so I don't know what that tastes like. And I didn't have this one. I drank Honkers all night.
Okay.
Yeah, I drank Honkers.
Didn't even want to know?
I was curious, but by the time I found out about it, I was already 2 Honkers in.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, well, I might as well get a third Honkers. But I'm curious. They did have a collab with Microphone on called Pass the Mic.
Okay.
So it was 8% hazy. It was fine.
Okay.
It was okay. The best beer I had was Honkers. So
That's sad that Or maybe it's not sad. I mean, it's a testament to them. But after, 30 years, Honkers is still that good.
I like Honkers, man. And then, side note, well, two things. I think they're hanging their hat on the ESB, and I don't know anywhere else I can go and even get one unless it's Midwest Coast, right?
Right.
But then also, I mean, this is what people do, what Hot Butcher, you're gonna get it, all IPAs 8 days a week, right? Oh, and I was listening to Beguile on the pod recently, and they said in the tap room, their top selling beer for a decade has been the Golden Ale.
Oh, wow.
On draft.
Okay.
Yeah, and packaging has been different.
Okay, I'm sure.
Yeah. So I mean, the ESB is their thing. So
I guess that's good, especially since everyone makes these IPAs, and it's not working out for some people. We'll get to that here in a minute.
But yeah, it was a good hang. We were just there. So I think there's conversation around putting maybe an awning on the patio for July and August.
Okay.
And then possibly, if things are rolling, maybe winterize that joint for the cold months. But we'll see. I think that parking thing's probably got to get squared away, and I don't know what the resolution is for that, but
Yeah, well, the fact that you can't just park there if you're going for lunch or dinner and park, it makes it hard for anybody.
what would you say? Maybe 2 city blocks if you want to have street parking? Maybe at least 1 city block, right? Because you got to walk the length of the building to get to whatever that side street is, and that's your closest parking option.
Yeah.
Unless you pay. Okay, so to set it up, there's at Salt Shed, there's a gigantic parking lot for everyone, but it's like $40 to park regardless, show or no show. And it's not owned by Salt Shed or Goose. So that's the problem with this location. Although it has a lot of upside, that's a wrinkle, for people who don't want a cab or, people who want to drive.
Right. I'm sure that person who owns this is never going to sell it.
It's not a problem for him.
They're making a ton of money. AB probably just needs to go in there and buy it and then make money on the show nights by being like, no Goose parking. But
Yeah, and I guess if that happens, we'll know that this project is worth it to them,
that's true. Yeah.
right? You'll know if they do that. So if they don't do it, then they're like, well, we're not putting any more money in this shit. Fuck it. So we'll see. But it's Chicago's only riverfront brewery, so sit outside on a nice day. It's actually, and you can see the skyline.
Burning Bush is on the river.
Is it?
You can sit on the patio back there.
I forget about Burning Bush. I've never been on the riverfront. Chicago's one of only 2 Chicago breweries that have a riverfront. Burning Bush and Goose Island. I totally forgot about that. Well, because I've never been on the patio.
Yeah.
So.
There's not another one, right? There's not a farther north one that.
Yeah, because water gets really low the more you go north.
Right.
Yeah, and then what's downtown? Yeah. There's no breweries on the river downtown, are there?
No.
Is there a South Branch to there? There probably is. I don't know if there's breweries on it, though.
I don't think
I think we'd have seen photos if there was.
Right.
So, but, yeah, it's a good hang. That's a fun place to see the skyline and to sit on that patio and have beer at Goose Island is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I had a good time.
Nice. And then you were over for Half Acre, right?
Yeah, man. Cheers to Half Acre. Daisy Cutter's 15. That's unreal, right? It's a 15-year-old. I mean, this is probably, if you were ranking all-time Chicago beers, this 15-year run of Daisy Cutter is very impressive.
Yeah, people often ask favorite Chicago beer, and I just kind of go with Daisy Cutter because it's always enjoyable. It's always good. I don't know, you can find it a lot of places. It's really never let me down.
It's literally the first beer they ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to celebrate, they got 2 different versions of Daisy Cutter on. Daisy Cutter 15, which is really good.
Okay.
Daisy Cutter 15 is the same 5.2% as regular Daisy Cutter, but it's a haze. They call it tropical hazy, tropical Daisy. That's like the inside term for it because it doesn't say that on the can or the menu.
Okay.
But they'll ask you like, oh, you should try the tropical hazy, tropical Daisy.
Tropical Daisy.
That's one version for the 15, and then the other version is this collab they did with Sierra Nevada. So they partnered with Sierra Nevada, went and grabbed some fancy hops from somewhere, and it's called Daisy Cutter Select. It's not a 5.2% beer; it's an 8% double IPA.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. So both of those are on draft, and both of those are in cans.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So as fun as the Daisy Cutter is, the big Daisy Cutter, the one with Sierra Nevada, I think I like this 15 a little better.
Okay.
Because you know how Daisy's giving you piney and citrusy, but it's not necessarily giving you sweet, right? But this other Daisy is like very soft. It almost, I forget, it's like Rickawa, some kind of, whatever Nectaron, whatever the hops are, it's giving it like faint hints of like peach, like strawberry.
Yeah, okay.
So it's a little softer.
Interesting.
You know? So it's a little different.
Is it that same hop that was in that Gamper that we drank, the old Irving beer?
Gamper. I don't know because I can't I'm familiar with hop names, but I can't off top just tell you, well, this hop has these notes. You know, like I don't know.
I don't know. Whatever was in that old Irving hop.
Oh no.
I think I might have didn't agree with me. I felt like
it was strange for strange sake.
Yeah.
It wasn't strange and oh shit, we discovered a new flavor.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird.
Exactly.
These were good though. These were good, man.
I was over at Half Acre the other weekend, so before the Daisy Cutter thing. So I guess I got to go back and hit it back up. But I was sitting out there on the patio drinking the Reef Knot, right?
Oh yeah, the summer thing.
The summer
lager.
Kolsch, basically.
You know, it's funny. I had just had this double IPA at Goose the day before, and I was telling the guy in the gift shop this. Because in the gift shop, you know, you can shop around and he'll pour you whatever you want, taste of it.
Goose or the Half Acre?
At Half Acre. He'll pour you, samples. And he's pouring me a sample of Daisy Cutter Select double IPA. And I'm telling him, like, man, they're doing a great job of hiding this 8%.
Yeah.
Because it is unusually drinkable, unusually dry. Like, it's a really good beer. And I'm like, I'm impressed because I was just at Goose and they had this microphone thing and it was just like this big, sweet, hoppy, kind of boozy thing that didn't make me happy.
Okay.
And this thing is a haze, 8%, the exact same style beer, completely different.
Okay.
Completely different. So, yeah, it's fun that we get to see the contrast.
Yeah, right.
And different crews and how they pull off the styles. But
man, all right, I guess I'm gonna have to make it up there and check it out.
I think the flight of the week is a $15 flight, and you get 4 pours. One of them is one of the lagers, not the Reef Knot, but I can't think of the name of this lager. Oh, but anyway, it's a lager and then all 3 daisies.
Okay.
So the lager, then OG, Select, and Daisy 15.
Oh, that's fun.
That's
okay.
so, and then you just run them all. So you can. That's really cool.
Let's see. Okay.
What else? Oh, they got On and On Part 4 on, which has honey in it. So I think it's a double barrel aged wheat wine or barley wine with honey.
Get rid of this series. It's a bad series. I'm confused by the series. I don't understand it. They're weird to be weird.
What about mushrooms? You don't like mushrooms on the beer?
No,
Okay.
I'm over it.
The one I liked. 2, I did not like. 3 was good. I think I'm the only one that likes 3. Of the people that I know, the only one that likes 3 is me. 4's not bad. 4's got a lot of honey.
Okay.
A lot of honey, a lot of smoke.
More than that honey jacket?
I mean, now that you mention it, yeah, I think it's honey like that.
Okay.
I think it's a very honeyed beer, which is fine if that's what you're in the mood for. You know, if you want like a hot toddy kind of thing going.
Okay.
You want a hot toddy / barrel aged barley wine stout hybrid. There you go.
No, I don't.
All you need is 6 ounces at most of this thing. Yeah. The sweet spot though is this Daisy 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go check it out, I guess. Unfortunately, the food is not great at Half Acre, so going there.
What do you mean? They just redid the menu, man.
Yeah, I have friends that go there for lunch, and I will often say, I will meet you for a drink. You can eat there, and I will eat ahead of time.
I think it's like Filipino-inspired menu of sorts.
Yeah.
I'm not much on Filipino food myself, so I'm the last person to ask if it's, you know,
Authentic.
or you know,
Or
or
good.
where does it rank in my Filipino food journey? I have no fucking
Yeah,
idea.
I haven't had it, and it's often hit or miss with the food at Half Acre. The beer hits home runs all the time, but yet just serve burgers and stuff. Like you don't have to be different to be different, right?
I don't know. Maybe it's being different is something that it's probably hard to turn off, and I think that's the case with that crew for sure. Like we are constantly changing, and it's gonna be fucking rad sometimes, and sometimes we're gonna miss the mark, but it's always gonna change.
Yeah.
Kind of, especially with them. But I think in general, well, yeah, let's. They're not playing it safe with the food, but then I think it's hard to be great at food and beer,
Sure.
right? Like I'm trying to think in city limits, right? Where do you go and you're like, well, you know what? The beer and the food are pretty legit up in this joint. I mean, Old Irving.
Old Irving's. Yeah.
Old Irving's the first thing to come to mind. At one point, it was Peace.
Yeah. That's a mess on both fronts at this point.
Nobody's going down to Moody Tongue.
Yeah, no, it should.
But see, look at how hard it is.
Weiner.
And then Weiner doesn't have a kitchen, right? They have guests now, right?
Yeah.
Unless you count the residency of the burger guy. It's like a barbecue burger joint.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, you have to struggle to find a crew that you really love their beer and their food in the city. You know, like what's Mars doing? Mars is cool. Do you love their beer and their food?
Their food is kind of, it's okay. It's like, I feel like sometimes it's like more drunk kind of food.
Yeah. So.
And Eris doesn't often have beer, so.
Eris, yeah. If Eris had their own beer, right? Maybe. But I like their food. Their food's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's tough. It's tough being good food and beer.
Right.
Sure, Goose ain't bad for beer and food.
Right.
But I mean, I drank honkers the whole night. So I don't know.
Okay.
It's probably harder than we're giving it credit.
Right. Well, a crew that couldn't get their food together and their beer, Lagunitas.
Chicago Nitas, man. Heineken, aka the Heineken Brewing Company. That might be Douglas Park? So
Right.
the neighborhood.
What's crazy is I was just there, and I said on the show, I was like, I never, ever need to go back here, and my wish has come true.
This is Brad's favorite segment of the show. Let's piss on the grave when they close. Does it surprise you?
Yeah, it does surprise
Okay.
me. So yeah, Lagunitas, if you haven't heard the news, is closing their ceasing brewing, packaging, and kitchen. But the kitchen was never really open. Tap room. Which is surprising, but they're keeping it open as a warehouse. So
Do they own that building? Because that's part of CineSpace.
It must, but to shut that down as a brewing facility, those are massive brewing equipment that no one else is buying from you. Like, there's not just some other brewery that's, you know what, let me get these like 1 million tank fermenters. I forget how big they are, but they're big.
They're 750s.
Yeah, no one has space for those.
It's it's the biggest brewery in the history of Chicago. If you talk to the Goose Island guys, the Fulton guys, they will tell you that Lagunitas had capacity to make 10 times the beer that Goose Fulton makes. Like, I don't think the scale of this place gets lost.
Right. Goose could maybe buy some, but they don't really have room for it either.
They're trying to figure out if they should make enhancements to the salt shed, which is a place that holds 400 people. They are not going into this fucking 100,000 square foot warehouse.
No, but I'm saying buy in any of the tanks or equipment.
I don't think physically you can. Like, Goose's fermenters are 400 barrel fermenters, and they're jacketed and they're outside. They're branded. So there's no building that holds this stuff.
I think I'm more shocked that they're ceasing the brewing on a whole. Like, it's not surprising that they're closing the tap room and that part, which they should have just shut that down. They should have took a page from Three Floyds and been like, cool, we're just doing our thing. Buy our beer at the store.
Yeah, I think Heineken, has like 40 breweries worldwide, right? So you would think, and Heineken's a global brewery.
Right.
So if Heineken is saying, hey, we're in the middle of the country, we got this good water, and we don't think this is going to work out, then I don't think it's going to be a brewery anymore. Because who else would go in there?
Right.
St. Louis is where Budweiser is. The only breweries on Heineken scale are like Bud and Miller, right?
Right.
Go
And-
worldwide.
And we said on this show when Lagunitas went in there, it was like the first year they saved all the money that they would have spent shipping the beer just
Yeah.
across the country.
Yeah.
So this makes no sense. You're going to go back to just brewing it in California and then ship it back to Chicago,
Well, it's a
but still own the space?
This is what was I gonna say? Man, I lost my train of
But
thought.
use it as a warehouse when you would have just been shipping it to distributors anyway to hold on to. What, you're going to hold beer in this giant warehouse? It's just like logistically doesn't make sense to me.
Doug Valecki was trying to make a point, Beer Cruncher, trying to make a point about California beer and how the top selling beers in California, the top 10 beers in California. And there was a point about Firestone Walker, whatever their latest beer is. I think it's not Pivo, but it's something else. Area code Golden Ale, whatever that is for Firestone Walker. That's like the number one selling craft beer in Cali. Number two is fucking Lagunitas IPA. So that's their home base, right?
Right.
So
They weren't selling beer here. They must not be selling beer on the East Coast.
to our friends, there's no easy way. After 10 legendary years in Chicago, our tap room is closing permanently. We loved every moment of hosting you. Cheers to the night spent pouring beers, dancing, killer live music, and countless unforgettable memories.
But also, 10 years. Okay, so 2014. They were really only open for 5. Because then we had...
14 to 20.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then they barely opened back up last year.
Wow.
They were only here for 5 years to the public.
Shout out to Tony McGee, Buffalo Grove's finest, who sold half his company for like $500 million to Heineken, and then a year later sold the other half, and got out right before things either stalled or there was no growth or it started declining. So he left with a smooth $1 billion and jumped ship and said, Heineken, here you go. So I think Heineken tried to brew Newcastle there, and maybe the equipment's not efficient enough for them or something. I don't know. But this kind of shit happens all the time with big breweries, you know, even all the way back to like when AB bought Rolling Rock and moved it out of Latrobe, Pennsylvania. The green bottle said Latrobe on them all the time. AB came in, bought them. See ya, Latrobe. We're brewing this shit where we brew everything else. And fuck all these breweries. But you know what? 3 years ago, Lagunitas had a brewery outside of LA. It's in a town called Azuka. I probably got that wrong. But anyway, it's like 40 miles east of LA.
Okay.
In a little town, you know, because California, the original Lagunitas is outside of San Francisco.
Yeah.
But they closed that brewery 3 years after it opened. So this is a very Lagunitas thing. They're consolidating again. So
I guess, and I'm sure people in Chicago weren't really drinking Lagunitas. It never, no matter how much the story tried to be like they're in Chicago too. I don't know, we're buying it, I guess. And all they brewed was IPA in like a market now where it's like a lot of people just want, like we said, these lagers or the ESBs, these 8% IPAs. I don't know. No one's who's buying those, and the shelf life isn't very good for them. So you gotta scale it back, right?
yeah, I had a good time. I had a good time at the old Lagunitas.
Yeah, when we went for that welcome back party or whatever, where they were like, "Look at us, we got a kitchen again, but just for tonight." So that was a good time.
Very weird the way it went out, but it sounds like you can blame Heineken for this.
Yeah.
I don't think the people at Heineken know what to do with fucking Lagunitas.
And I would think the hop waters, they were doing well, but I think that market is hard because you can drink bubble water at home for a third of the price.
I think in hospitality and by extension in brewing, it's probably hard to get people. It's hard to get people that want to work.
Sure, and drive all the way out there.
And then you got this building where if you're not at max capacity, it might not even be worth it to have the lights on in this bitch. I mean, it's a massive space.
That's true.
And they're the Heineken folks, these big corporations, they're like, listen, man, y'all motherfuckers got a brewery in California, so we're closing this one, and that's the end of it because this is what's good for business, and we're probably a publicly traded company, so this is just how shit works.
Sure.
So
Just being here or just pretending to be open is costing us whatever every day.
yeah,
every
it's
week.
just so I don't think there's anything that could save it, which is kind of weird because there's a ton of places, there's a ton of parking, they have a ton of space. From the moment I stepped foot in that joint, they talked about putting a rooftop bar on there, and that never happened. So it had the structure to be something that could be like really legendary. Like the closing letter said it was legendary. It had a chance to actually be legendary, and they just never pulled it off. So
Right.
it was a fun ride though. I had some good times at the old Lagunitas.
Yeah, I think it's a little shocking. If Heineken and Lagunitas can't make it, makes you worried for some of these other places.
If you claim you like a brewery, you should probably buy the beer.
Right.
Or they'll be gone.
Yeah.
That's what this sounds like.
And if you don't, even if you have an active tap room like Metropolitan, sometimes that's not even good enough.
Because that place was built to be a production facility.
Lagunitas?
No,
Or Metro?
a Metro.
Yeah.
I think Metro's thing was we got so much tank space and we can make so much beer that we should be selling more beer in the market. And the tap room's just a bonus, but the business plan called for them to sell more beer out the door because
Right.
that's the only reason you go that big. If you just want to have a killer tap room, then you go the size of fucking the building they were in.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what, we were talking about Old Irving. They moved into that old Finch space. They're hoping to move a lot more beer, and maybe winning again for their hazy makes that happen easier. But
Yeah, and good on them for not opening it's just gonna be a production facility.
yeah,
We
not
got it.
trying to be a front-facing thing.
It's not a restaurant. It's not a tap room. We're selling beer. We're selling beer off premise to accounts, and that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
This ain't bad. This the old Bossberry.
Bossberry. And then we got Off Color and Dovetail with birthdays.
I think off color Mousetrap is turning 11,
Okay.
and then I think Dovetail's turning 8. I
Or
think.
10?
Yeah.
8 or 10?
So those are both this weekend. Off Color is partying Saturday, and I believe Dovetail and Beguile are partying.
Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, May Festiversary.
So cool. Anything else before we wrap this up with our Bossberry? Anything we forget? Anything we miss?
I think we got it. It's gonna both of those half acre beers are gonna hit production or hit distro.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, so that's not like a taproom only thing.
That's good to know.
Yeah,
Nice.
but if you want on and on, you probably gotta go to taproom. So
Awesome. All right. Well, that'll do it for us. We'll be back soon with another episode. Take care.
cheers.